third video in our series on can you make money from animals in FS25, and this time we're looking at buffalo. And buffalo are essentially cows in FS25, so that's why I've done these three as a series together initially, and we'll be comparing them to dairy cows in a bit. I have used exactly the same test setup, so if you've watched either of the other two videos you'll be familiar with it, but I'll show you that setup in a moment. But to give you a quick summary, 55 buffaloes in a custom cow pen with 1 million litres of food and straw and automatic watering, and I'm tracking all of the inputs and outputs and animal value, throwing that in a giant spreadsheet and generating some numbers. So let's go have a quick look at the farm and then I'll show you the results. Like the other videos in this series, if you haven't watched those, you should go watch them. Same test setup, so 55 water buffalo in the modified Herman shed that I've created, and just been progressing through time, logging how much manure has been produced, how much food has been eaten, how much slurry and straw and all that kind of thing, and that's generated the data that we'll have a look at back in PowerPoint now. Okay, so water buffalo are essentially a combination of dairy cows and beef cows that produce a little bit of different milk. So food-wise or input-wise, they eat the same amount as dairy cows, so 350 litres of food per month, and they use 95 litres of straw. Water is the same across all of them, actually, so they all seem to use this about £14, dollars or euros worth of water per day once they're mature. In terms of milk produced, they produce a lot less milk than a dairy cow, but it's worth a lot more. So milk production starts at the same point. At 11 months old, they start producing milk. By the time they're 12 months old, it is stable at 30 litres of buffalo milk per month. Buffalo milk is worth a lot more than cow's milk, so the difference is not a problem. Do not panic. And I have assumed for this that we are selling it. You could put it through a production and probably increase the profitability significantly. And then in terms of slurry and manure, this is more in line with beef cattle, I believe. Yep, just double check. This is more in line with beef cattle. So they produce 300 litres of manure a month once they're mature and 250 litres of slurry. So again, I'm assuming that you sell this at a sell point, not through a BGA, because of the upfront cost of a BGA. In terms of the value of the buffalo, the animals peak at £1,500 dollars or euros at 24 months. I am assuming that probably you're not going to want to sell these at any point because they are a milk producing animal predominantly. So although I showed the value and I'll show you the profit including the value of the animal, really we're interested in that profitability from selling the outputs. So if you watched my dairy video, you might not, you might have jumped straight to the buffalo video. So let me explain the graphs. The blue line considers the value of the buffalo, the cost of the inputs, and the money you make from selling the outputs. So, and that assumes you buy the buffalo as a calf. The orange line is the same thing, but assuming that you've raised the calf on your farm. And essentially what you're looking at is if, say, for example, you choose to sell the animal at 25 months old, you will have made about £3,500 profit. Now that's not something you're really going to do with a milk producing animal, probably. So we've got this yellow line, and that is just taking the cost of the food, the water and the straw versus the value of the slurry, manure and the milk. And you can see that quite quickly they become profitable as soon as they start producing the milk. And at our 25-month point, we've made what's that, a couple of over £2,000 profit, and you're making a steady profit every month from buffalo, which is cool. So to compare to dairy cows, because I'm sure some of you are curious about that, I've pulled in the data from that video, and you can see that basically they're about the same. Buffalo ever so slightly more profitable, but really, it doesn't matter which one you pick. Pick which one you prefer, it would seem. You'll make slightly more from buffalo. The productions might sway that one way or the other. I haven't looked at them. So in summary, yes, you can make money from buffalo. You're looking at making about £170 profit per month for a mature animal, assuming that you sell things at best prices. Productions will increase this. Again, I haven't looked at those. And as I said, slightly more profitable than dairy cows. So if this video has been useful, click the like button. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, stick them below. And I'll see you next time.